Even before the War of Conquest and Targaryen invasion, the lands of Westeros were known as the Seven Kingdoms, named for the seven realms that ruled the land. There was the Kingdom of the North, the Kingdom of the Mountain and Vale, the Kingdom of the Isles and Rivers, the Kingdom of the Rock, the Kingdom of the Reach, the Kingdom of the Stormlands, and Dorne. These realms would become administrative regions under Targaryen rule, with the Isles and Rivers broken up into the Riverlands and Iron Islands. The Crown Lands were also added, and while Dorne could not be conquered, they eventually joined the Seven Kingdoms by means of a marriage alliance. Though each region would be governed by a High Lord of a great house, Dorne kept their title of Prince, in honor of their Rhoynar heritage. The capital of this great kingdom would be named King's Landing, where the king sits atop the Iron Throne, forged by blacksmiths with the many swords of Aegon the Conqueror's fallen enemies. While the king has absolute authority in any matter, the day-to-day administration of the realm falls to the hand of the king, a man appointed by the king and given great power second only to the ruler himself. Further, the many ministries of the Westerosi government are headed by noblemen appointed by the king or hand, who serve together in the small council, meant to inform and advise according to their areas of expertise. The small council consists of a master of ships charged with maintaining the royal fleet, as well as recruiting crews and building warships, and in the case of war would be charged with commanding naval operations. The Lord Commander of the King's Guard is the most senior member of their honored unit, there to advise in matters of war and security. The Master of Laws is charged with upholding justice in the realm. He administers the dungeons and the city watch called the Gold Cloaks, and is also in charge of overseeing the royal executioner known as the King's Justice. Together they organize executions and punishments. The Master of Whispers is chief spy for the crown, given the task of organizing spy networks both within the Seven Kingdoms and around the world. Above all else, he is to keep the king and hand informed of all possible threats to the realm, organizing agents to engage in espionage and subterfuge. The Grand Maester is present to represent the Maesters of the Citadel, chosen by the Conclave, a ruling council of Archmaesters. The Grand Maester is meant to provide useful knowledge and advice, passed down from years spent studying many important subjects. He also acts as chief healer to the king and the royal court. There is also a Master of Coin, who supervises trade and tax policy, negotiating loans with foreign banks, and overseeing the general finances of the realm. He is also charged with the minting of coinage, creating 3 distinct units of exchange, each minted with the face of the current king. The most valuable of the coins are gold dragons, pressed with a dragon on one side. These were used primarily by noblemen and rich merchants, with most peasants never coming anywhere close to owning the value of a single golden dragon. Silver stags come next, minted with a great stag on one side. A group of 7 silver stags is called a moon, meaning a single gold dragon is worth 210 silver stags, or 30 moons. Silver coinage is most often used by merchants, knights, and noblemen. Copper pennies and half pennies are the most common form of currency, primarily used by the small folk, and pressed with a star on one side. 2 pennies together are called a half groat, while 4 pennies are a groat, and 8 pennies together are called a copper star. There are 56 copper pennies, or 7 stars, in a silver stag. There are 392 pennies, or 49 stars, in a silver moon. Finally, there are 11,760 pennies, or 1,470 stars, in a gold dragon. Across the Narrow Sea, several other forms of currency are used. In Braavos, they use square iron coins. In Lys, oval-shaped coins minted with images of naked women. In Volantis, Meereen, and Karth, they use honors, which are gold coins with a crown on one side and death on the other. In Yunkai, they use golden marks pressed with a pyramid on one side and the harpy of Old Gis on the other. The kingship of Westeros has often been in contention, with would-be usurpers and traitors eagerly awaiting their chance to seize power. As a result, a strict line of succession has been encouraged over the years, with several great councils being called to determine the matter in times of confusion, hoping to avoid war, though sometimes war came in any case. Traditionally, Westeros is ruled by a Targaryen male king, following agnatic succession, which emphasizes male inheritance, allowing females to inherit only when no other males in the family remain alive. With a childless king, the heir becomes a brother or else the nearest male relative. Once a male child is born, however, that child takes precedence over all others. Even should the eldest male child die later in life, it would be his children and his line that would inherit the throne, even before any siblings the heir may have had. Should no children exist after the death of a male heir, his eldest brother would take his place, as would any male children of that brother. In cases where there is no male child or no male siblings, often a male uncle or cousin is chosen. Only with all the males of House Targaryen dead would a female or her descendants be typically considered. However, the first great civil war under Targaryen rule, known as the Dance of the Dragons, began because King Viserys I violated tradition by naming his eldest daughter as heir. After the king's death, his eldest son, Aegon II, would usurp the crown from his sister, claiming that as the eldest male son, he was the rightful king according to the laws and traditions of the realm, splitting the continent into warring factions. Many of the other noble houses of Westeros practice a similar form of inheritance rights, with some changes. This is primarily seen as male primogeniture, which grants inheritance to the eldest male child, followed by his male children, followed by his female children. This allows for females to inherit and pass titles through their line, so long as there are no males ahead of them, directly in the line of succession. In Dorne, nobles use yet another method, in absolute primogeniture, where the eldest child, regardless of gender, is granted the right of inheritance. This is a more egalitarian system, allowing for females to immediately inherit titles and land even before male siblings. This traces back to the customs of the ancient Rhoynar, who migrated to Dorne many years ago and intermixed with the Dornish.